Kia ora team, welcome to the Parkrun Brief, the weekly parkrun training podcast where I break down what we've published this week on parkruntraining.co.nz and turn it into practical coaching advice you can use this Saturday. I'm Coach Ray. I specialise in coaching beginner and recreational runners to achieve their sporting as well as their health and fitness goals. Now, first up is our Sunday reset. The one thing every runner should do on Sundays, but most don't. Most runners finish parkrun, upload the result, maybe stretch a little, and then they mentally move on. Monday arrives, the next week begins, and the cycle repeats. But there's one small habit that separates runners who plateau from runners who quietly keep improving. It isn't the long run, it isn't a mobility session, it isn't foam rolling or ice baths. It's this: they reflect before they react. That's it. On Sundays, the smartest runners pause long enough to understand what just happened and what it means for the week ahead. Not emotionally, not dramatically, just honestly. Why reflection matters more than intensity. Training stress without reflection turns into guesswork. Reflection turns it into direction. When you pause on Sunday and ask a few simple questions, you stop chasing fitness blindly and start training intentionally. Without that pause, most runners do one of two things. Overcorrect. I need more speed work. Or ignore the signal completely. It was just a bad day. Neither builds long-term progress. The 5-minute Sunday habit. You don't need a journal ritual or a complicated checklist. Just 5 quiet minutes alone. Ask yourself, what went well this week? Not just times, but behaviours, consistency, discipline. Number 2, what drained me unnecessarily? Was it pacing, sleep, stress, or too many of those medium hard efforts? Or number 3, what was one adjustment that could make next week smoother? Not harder, not bigger, smoother. Write one sentence for each. That is your Sunday reset. Why most runners don't do this? Because reflection feels unproductive. It doesn't raise heart rate. It doesn't close rings. It doesn't show up on Strava, but it changes everything. When you reflect weekly, you spot patterns before they become problems. You prevent overtraining before it bites. You reinforce what's working. You remove emotional swings from performance. And over months, that compounds. The compound effect of small awareness. The difference between a runner who stagnates and a runner who improves often isn't talent. It's awareness. Awareness of fatigue, awareness of pacing, awareness of recovery habits, awareness of mindset under pressure. Sunday is the perfect place to build that awareness. Not with judgment, just curiosity. Before Monday arrives, today isn't about doing more, it's about understanding what you've already done. If yesterday's parkrun felt great, protect what worked. If it felt flat, learn from it without panicking. If it surprised you, ask yourself why. 5 minutes of honest reflection today can save 5 weeks of frustration later. Saturday tests you, Sunday teaches you, Monday builds you. That's the rhythm, and one thing every runner should do on Sundays. Pause, reflect, adjust. Just slightly, then move forward. For the Saturday spark, train less, gain more. The secret of smarter Saturdays. Most runners believe progress comes from doing more. More mileage, more intensity, more sessions squeezed into an already busy week. But here's something experienced runners eventually learn. Improvement doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing the right amount consistently. And for many park runners, that means learning the power of smarter Saturdays, not harder ones. The more is better trap. When motivation is high, it's easy to push every run. You feel good midweek, so you add extra pace. You feel strong in training, so you run harder than planned. Then Saturday arrives and your legs feel flat. It's not because you're unfit, it's because you spent the energy you needed for the best 5K earlier in the week. Fitness grows when stress and recovery balance each other, not when stress constantly wins. Why less can actually mean more. Smarter training focuses on quality over quantity. That means easy runs that are genuinely easy. 1 or 2 purposeful sessions each week. Enough recovery to absorb the work. When you reduce unnecessary effort, something powerful happens. Your legs feel fresher, your pacing improves, your confidence rises, your Saturday run feels smoother. You don't lose fitness, you reveal it. What a smarter Saturday looks like. A smarter Saturday isn't about chasing a PB every week. It's about running with intention. Sometimes that means practicing controlled pacing, finishing strong instead of starting fast, running by feel instead of chasing splits, treating parkrun as part of training, not a weekly race. Ironically, when you stop trying to force performance, performance often shows up anyway. The real secret: consistency wins. Big weeks followed by burnout don't build long-term progress. Consistent, sustainable weeks do. If training slightly less means you stay injury-free, you look forward to running, you recover faster, you show up every Saturday feeling ready. Then you're doing it right. The runners who improve year after year aren't the ones training the hardest every week, they're the ones who keep turning up. The Saturday Spark takeaway: if you want stronger Saturdays, remember this: train smarter, not consistently hard. Protect your recovery, let freshness create speed, and consistency beats intensity over time. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is a little less, so you can run a lot better. Run relaxed, run smart, enjoy your park run. Friday's fast track: a 3 by 5 minute threshold. Threshold sessions are where a lot of parkrun progress quietly happens. They're not flashy, they're not all out, but they build the kind of strength that lets you hold pace when it matters. This Friday fast track workout uses repeatable 5-minute efforts to develop control, confidence, and endurance, all key ingredients for a stronger 5K. Warm up 10 minutes at level 2, easy, relaxed running. The main set: 3 by 5 minutes at level 4, threshold effort, with 2 minutes at level 2, recovery jog between reps. Cool down 10 minutes at level 2, and post-run 10 minutes of gentle stretching. Why this works for parkrun: threshold running teaches your body to sustain a strong effort without tipping over the edge. By repeating controlled 5-minute blocks, you build the ability to stay composed when the pace feels demanding. Exactly what parkrun asks of you. This session helps you improve sustainable speed, raise your lactate threshold, strengthen mid-run focus, reduce the urge to slow late in a run, and build confidence at strong, controlled effort. The 2-minute recoveries are long enough to reset, but short enough to keep the pressure on. How it should feel: strong and steady rather than aggressive. Breathing is deep but controlled. You could say a short phrase, not hold a conversation. The final rep feels challenging but manageable. If the first rep feels too easy, resist the urge to surge. The goal is consistency across all 3. Now my tip: think about running even effort, not even pace. Wind, terrain, and fatigue may change your speed slightly, but your effort should feel constant. Smooth, controlled running here translates directly to better pacing decisions on parkrun day. Want to finish your next parkrun feeling stronger and more in control? Grab my free guide, Stronger for Parkrun, a quick routine to finish your 5K better. It's a simple, effective strength session you can add after any run, including this Friday fast track workout. The link is down in the description. The most common parkrun training pattern that stops progress. By the time runners reach a parkrun plateau, most of them are doing a lot of things right. They're showing up most weeks. They're running more consistently than they used to. They care about improving. That's why it can be so confusing when nothing seems to change. In the first article in this series, I explained why parkrun plateaus happen, even when you're doing everything right, and why consistency eventually stops being enough on its own. In the second, we looked at why parkrun often feels harder before it gets faster, and how that discomfort is usually driven by uncertainty rather than lack of effort. What sits underneath both of these experiences is a very specific and very common training pattern. Most runs end up feeling similar. Not easy enough to truly recover from, not focused enough to drive adaptation, just hard enough to feel like training. The middle ground is comfortable. It feels responsible, and because it still requires effort, it's easy to assume it must be working. The problem is that this grey zone quietly maintains your current fitness instead of moving it forward. When every run carries a bit of fatigue, nothing stands out. Easy days aren't easy enough to absorb harder work properly, and harder days aren't distinct enough to create clear stimuli. Over time, everything blends together and progress stalls. This is really intentional. Most runners don't choose this pattern, they drift into it. A steady midweek run creeps a little quicker. A recovery jog turns into steady. Parkrun becomes the hardest session by default. Individually, none of these choices work well. None of these choices look wrong. Collectively, they create a week of plenty of effort but very little direction. That's why plateaus often arrive without warning. From the outside, it can look like you need more discipline or more intensity. In reality, what's missing is contrast. Easy needs to feel easy. Hard needs to have a purpose. And parkrun needs to sit on top of training, not carry it. When runners break out of this pattern, they are often surprised by how little they need to change. It's not about adding more days or chasing exhaustion. It's about giving each run a clearer job, so effort actually accumulates instead of cancelling itself out. Once that happens, a few things usually shift quickly. Runs feel less chaotic. Parkrun pacing feels more familiar. The final kilometre becomes something you manage, not survive. And slowly times start to move again. If this pattern sounds familiar, it's not a criticism, it's a sign that you've reached the point where guesswork stops working. A useful next step. If you've read this series and recognise yourself in the plateau, the extra effort or the grey zone pattern, the next step isn't to overhaul everything. It's to understand exactly where you're stuck and what kind of change will actually help. I've put together a short diagnostic for parkrunners that does exactly that. It's not a training plan and it's not a list of tips. It's designed to help you pinpoint why your parkrun hasn't improved in a while, even though you're training regularly, and what needs to change next. You can download it with the link below, why your parkrun hasn't improved in 6 months and what to change. Sometimes progress doesn't need more effort, it just needs clearer direction. Parkrun power tip. Try a parkrun speed challenge in training. Why this tip matters. One of the best ways to feel more confident on parkrun day is to make race pace feel familiar in training. That's where a parkrun speed challenge comes in. It's a simple, flexible way to practice running faster without turning every session into a full-blown race. By breaking the 5K effort into manageable chunks, you build speed, confidence and control, all without the pressure of chasing a PB every Saturday. What is a parkrun speed challenge? A parkrun speed challenge is a structured training run where you practice short segments at or slightly faster than your parkrun pace, with easy running in between. Think of it as rehearsal, not testing. Examples might include 5 by 3 minutes at parkrun pace with 2 minutes easy. 10 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off. 3 by 1 kilometre controlled at goal pace with a relaxed recovery. Or it might be the 3 by 5 minute threshold that was the Friday fast track session I discussed previously. These sessions teach your body what parkrun effort feels like without the fatigue of an all-out effort. Why this works so well. Speed challenges improve pace awareness, build tolerance to sustained effort, reduce anxiety around race pace, teach you to recover quickly, and make parkrun pace feel controlled and repeatable. You're training your nervous system as much as your muscles. How to use this in your training week. Place speed challenges midweek or after an easy day. Keep the total session manageable. Finish feeling worked, not wrecked. Combine with easy runs for balance. Consistency matters more than intensity. How this transfers to parkrun day. When you've practiced parkrun pace in chunks, the early kilometres feel calmer. The middle of the run feels familiar. You're more confident holding pace. You're better prepared for a strong finish. You're no longer guessing. You're executing. Final takeaway, Parkrun Speed Challenge turns speed into a skill, not a gamble. By practicing controlled efforts and training, you make parkrun pace feel normal and achievable. Come Saturday, you'll line up with confidence, ready to run, not just hope. Speed inside endurance. Stephanie Barker's Neale parkrun as part of her Tarawera 100 build. Not every strong parkrun happens on fresh legs. This parkrun progress report looks at Stephanie Barker's Neale parkrun in Nelson, completed in the middle of a 5-hour long run as part of her preparation for Tarawera 100. Context matters here. Stephanie wasn't tapering. She wasn't chasing a PB. She was building ultra durability and deliberately inserting controlled intensity into a long aerobic session. Her parkrun time, 25:36. Her overall session, just under 5 hours, averaging just under 7 minutes per kilometre. That's not a random effort, that's structured training. Her parkrun splits were 5:10, 5:09, 5:08, 4:59, 5:06. On a flat course, that's impressively controlled pacing, especially mid-long run. The first 3 kilometres are almost identical. That tells us effort was regulated, not emotional. The 4th kilometre drop under 5 minutes is a key moment in this run. And the slight settle back to 5:06 in the final kilometre suggests this was a conscious decision to return to sustainable effort, not a fade. Why this matters in ultra training. For someone preparing for 100 kilometres, this run tells us far more than the finish time. It shows that Stephanie can change gears mid-run, inject speed without blowing up, maintain form under fatigue, and return to aerobic rhythm after intensity. The ability to shift gears and recover while still moving is critical in ultra racing. Courses change, terrain changes, effort changes. The athlete who can surge and then settle is the athlete who performs well late. Segment PRs under fatigue. Now Strava recorded multiple segment PRs on the Neale Park course. This was her second fastest full Neale parkrun segment on that route. That's significant. When you can run near your best 5k pace inside a 5-hour session, it suggests aerobic efficiency is improving, fatigue resistance is high, running economy is holding up under load. That's exactly what you want to see for a race like Tarawera 100. What this tells us about pacing discipline. There's a maturity to this effort. The even opening kilometres show restraint. The 4th kilometre shows confidence. The final kilometre shows control. This wasn't a maximal 5k, it was a well-executed training injection. For recreational runners, this is a powerful lesson. You don't always need to race parkrun to benefit from it. Sometimes the biggest gains come from using parkrun intelligently within a broader training plan. The bigger takeaway, the headline isn't 25:36. The headline is Stephanie can run controlled 5 kilometre splits, 5 minutes per kilometre pace within a 5-hour run. That's a strong indicator of durability, aerobic depth, and smart execution. And that's exactly what ultra preparation should look like. Want help applying this to your own training? Whether you're building towards a parkrun PB or a longer endurance goal, structured pacing and intelligent intensity matter. Join Parkrun Kickstart and build confidence, pacing control, and consistent performance every Saturday. The link is in the description. And apply for your own parkrun progress report. Get a personalised breakdown of your pacing, effort distribution, and performance. Once again, the link is in the description. Ka kite anō, and all the best for your next parkrun.